Welcome to the Key to Growth podcast, Home Services Marketing Unlocked, with me, your host, Jen McKee. Every week, I sit down with top marketers in the trades, from the brains behind $100 million companies to those scaling from 1 to 3, even to 10 million, breaking down exactly how they got where they are and uncover the secret to their success. If you're ready to grow your business and get real, actionable insights, you're in the right place. Let's unlock the key to your marketing success, starting now.
Hey friends, it's Jen McKee, your host of the Key to Growth podcast. If you're a home service leader who's ready for bigger growth, stronger leadership, and more visibility in 2026, listen up. I'm hosting something brand new. The Growth Experience is a powerful 2-day conference happening right here in my hometown of San Antonio, Texas. This event is designed for you if you are an owner or leader who wants to scale smarter with profit-first financial clarity, stronger leadership and sales systems, real operational efficiency, how to use AI tools, and of course, modern marketing visibility that actually works. You're going to learn from incredible speakers, connect with the brightest minds in the trades, and walk away with strategies you can use immediately in your business. VIP spots will even get full content capture experience in two deep dive workshops on confidence, leadership, and storytelling. Tickets officially go on sale January 8th if you have saved your seat on the waitlist. Waitlist gets first access, best pricing, and early VIP access. So go to thegrowth-experience.com to get on the list. Trust me, this is a room you're going to want to be in. March 30th through April 1st, 2026 in San Antonio, Texas. See you there. Welcome back, everyone, to the Key to Growth podcast. I am your host, Jen McKee, and today we are here with a great guest. I'm so excited for you guys to learn more about everything that he's doing in his plumbing business in Los Angeles, California. Today we have Yossi Wachtel. Yossi, tell everybody who you are if they don't know who you are yet.
Hi. Thanks for having me on, Jen. My name is Yossi Wachtel, actually.
Wachtel.
Well, there you go. I own a plumbing, heating, air, and electric business in Los Angeles since 2007. We've been operating under the name Monkey Wrench. And that's it.
Okay, so that actually just, I love to start at the beginning, but this happened in the beginning, so I'm just going to start with this question. So 2007 means you started a business right before like the economic crash, which of course we're experiencing not the same thing, but similar, where it just feels a little bit different than it's felt. So what was that like? Starting this business and then immediately being in a position where, especially in California, that was not an easy time to own a business, I'm sure.
Sure. Great question. The funny thing is that you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So I started out in the property management and construction. I'm sorry. Why did I just say that? Let's edit that.
Already.
Wow.
Okay.
Great question, actually, Jen. What's interesting is that you don't know what you don't know. And I actually started out in the property management and commercial world, and that's all I knew. The funny thing is that back then when residential customers would call us, we would say, actually, I'm sorry, we don't service residential customers, which is so funny to think that today this is where I'm at, where maybe 0.1% of our business was residential. Today, like maybe 1% of our business is actually commercial. We don't do any property management work as well. So back then, that's what we knew. That is what we did. And we built a pretty nice, successful business off of just doing property management work and commercial work. So during that time, which was definitely a challenging time, as I have learned only later on in the years, for our industry, we actually weren't really affected by it, because that's, the property management world still needed services. Commercial world still needed services.
So interesting. So when did you make the switch into residential, and why? I mean, I think there's not everyone, but there's many people who started off in commercial or new builds and then moved into residential. But I'm curious of when you did.
So from about 2007 until about 2013, that was our business. And we built it up to a pretty nice sized business. And we got to a place where I felt like a hamster in a wheel. We weren't really making money. Yeah, we were bringing in money, but we weren't keeping anything on the bottom line. And there was a couple of key moments that really changed our life besides the fact that we had hundreds of thousands of dollars in accounts receivable. So I was like other people's bank. Besides from that, we needed to do a price increase.
Okay.
And we lost a big client based off of the fact that we needed to do this price increase. And I was shocked that here I am. I'm a very customer service driven person. I'm all about providing value. And I felt that we provided incredible value to our commercial and property management customers, and they dropped us like a sack of potatoes. And I couldn't understand why would they drop us if we were providing value until I just figured out, you know what, this is a price driven market and not a value driven market. And I get it. At that point in time, I knew there had to be a different world out there. And I got introduced to Nexstar, which is really all about providing value to residential clients. And you're able to charge the price that you need to charge in order to be profitable. And I knew that this was going to be a big transition, but we essentially started our business over again in 2014 and just completely shifted into new business and new clients.
Dang. So so just for like a reference point, how many people were on your team then that you had to like find work for pretty quickly?
So what's interesting is that we actually still have one employee left.
Nice.
From back then, which is amazing.
Yeah.
However, we had at the height of in that world, we had about 20 people. Okay.
And then, so you decided to move into residential, and how did you start getting customers? Like, what were the first things? I'm a huge, maybe you did this on purpose or maybe not, but I always look for some sort of guidance when I'm doing something new. So seeking out Nexstar to really kind of help you was probably super beneficial when you're making this massive change. But what were some of the first things that you guys did to get into this residential market?
The first things that we started doing was advertising.
Yeah.
I never advertised a day in business.
So you started doing marketing. How much, what percentage of your revenue were you putting towards that?
I don't recall, but there wasn't a lot of calculation regarding how much money we would be spending there. We were just throwing money at whatever we could do. Whether it's ads in local newspapers. I remember just some small little cities we were advertising in. We did some direct mail back then. For the first time, we actually, built a proper website that was SEO driven. We started doing SEO, and what's interesting is that calls were actually coming in. What's funny is that calls were actually coming in the entire time in that 10 years of not doing of actually doing property management work. We just turned them down. We didn't care about them because that's not what we wanted. So I feel like the calls were always there, and we just started taking them.
Interesting. That's kind of nice to start off with. Were you guys Monkey Wrench at the time?
We were Monkey Wrench at the time. We only recently actually started adding. We added in. We're now Monkey Wrench Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric, but we're Monkey Wrench Plumbing at that point. But what I will say is that back then, okay, let's edit that. I don't know. I've totally forgot. I lost my train of thought. I have no idea what I was just about to say. Wow, that's the whole break.
Okay.
All right, continue.
Okay, so Okay. So you were Monkey Wrench Plumbing, and you started being able to take all these calls. So when you guys, how long ago did you add HVAC and electric?
This is our third season in HVAC, our third year, and we added electric 2 years ago.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the marketing that you guys are doing right now. Like something that you've done recently that's working really well, or like a very something that you didn't know if it was going to work and it ended up working.
I would say that it's a great question. I would say that direct mail or let me rephrase that. Connecting with our existing clientele.
Okay.
Connecting with our existing clientele has been the biggest game changer overall. Back to when I think about our commercial days, it was all relationship driven. I'm a relationship kind of guy, and so I put in a very strong relationship with those clients, talking to them, speaking to them, just engaging with them. And then we moved to this place of residential, and I didn't really engage with our clients for a number of years. And thinking that, I don't need to really engage with my clients because they're just calling. But then once we started engaging with our clients of weekly emails, of direct mail, of just connecting with them, even outbound calling, and just spending time with our existing clientele instead of just chasing that new customer every day, it's amazing what happened. I mean, today, 74% of our business is existing clientele with a high average sale. And we, at the end of the day, they're satisfied and happy clients.
What do you guys do do you guys do a lot of work in your community? You're in a huge market, and I think that everybody knows like the big market marketing is so different than a small market marketing. But I do think there's still some opportunity, like, that 5 Mile famous idea. Like, are there things that you guys do within your community that's more hands-on, even in this really large market?
So you say the word community, but we are a giant community. I mean, there's a lot of people in this community, and inside this community, it's in the city of Los Angeles. You're made up of a bunch of little small neighborhoods and cities like that. So for starters, we have some billboards strategically placed in some small cities that that our highest revenue is. We do focus on that heat map from Service Titan, and we really look to see where we're doing the most business, where our highest average sale is, highest conversion rate, and highest revenue in those specific areas, and we try to target those areas. We let our customers know, hey, we're in your area. Your neighbors are satisfied customers, and we want to do business with you as well. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of that. A lot of that kind of stuff. And we're just focused on neighborhood by neighborhood. We kind of sprinkle around. The beauty is that, you can drive down the freeway in the morning and you see the same trucks going one way going east, the other way going west, or north and south. And so you get to start to see them and build that brand. And what's interesting is that I see other companies' trucks, and that's really because it's the same thing over and over. Our driving billboards over and over.
When I'm in Los Angeles, I see a lot of trucks I know. I'm like, hey, there they are. And it's crazy because it's such a big city. It's crazy to see anything.
Yes. You never know who's watching you. I love getting text messages from random people. It never gets old. With a picture of a truck. And just saying, hey, I saw your truck on the freeway. But that's the thing, you could be driving down the freeway 5 miles an hour in traffic, and you're behind a monkey wrench truck or next to it, or you see it on the other side of the freeway.
Yeah, which means that your team always needs to know that they're on, right? People are always paying attention.
That is definitely true.
Yeah. So you mentioned your Service Titan heat map. So I'm curious, to grow a company like you've been doing, what are some things like in your internal systems or even internal operations that really you wasn't working and you had to dial it in order to get more out of your marketing and more, I guess, really just stretch your marketing budget?
There are some great companies out there today that for follow-ups that you can do that are just super impactful. You can kind of, I'm not going to say set it and forget it, but in a certain way you can automate these things and just move on to the next thing, and then keep on tweaking and stuff like that. So there today the sky is the limit. If you're using the data correctly, there's so much that you can do with data, and we're becoming more sophisticated as the days go on.
Yeah. How do you make sure that your data is correct?
Data integrity actually is very important. Thank God we have some really good people on our team. I would say Lauren, our marketing director, she is exceptionally detailed when it comes to data integrity. I mean, she will look into the source of those calls and say, hey, something doesn't seem right here, and really dive deep into that. We also use Lace today, which really has helped us out tremendously with from calls as well. And just we dive deep into things. I have a hard time just accepting the results. I will really look deep into our marketing reports and our ROI reports.
Yeah.
To really look deep and see what happened with this campaign and really dig deep into it.
Okay, I love that. So I'm curious, when you guys first moved into residential, did you already have a marketing person, or was that you?
No, we did not have a marketing person. That person was me.
Yeah.
I didn't even understand marketing or advertising whatsoever. I had no idea that call tracking was actually a thing.
Okay.
I didn't understand why you would need to spend money on call tracking. This is before the Service Titan what had phone numbers.
Yeah.
So I didn't really thoroughly understand that world. As time goes on, I'm forced to really understand this. And Lauren came on 6 years ago
Oh,
to our
wow.
company. She started out as a call center rep, and very quickly we noticed that her level of detail and her ability to make sure that the data is correct was really has been really helpful.
Okay, so you guys hired her on, and so her responsibility, and I'm asking this because a couple reasons. Like, at every level, I've seen organizations where the owner is still responsible for marketing, which you and I know that's really challenging as you continue to grow. It's good to have other eyes on it. But I think the other thing is, as so many of these companies are growing, is they don't really know like what this marketing person should be responsible for. Like and I've seen all over the board people do things like give them everything or just have them manage vendors, or so what are some things that she's responsible that has been, obviously you mentioned like really diving into the data. What are some other things that she's responsible for?
I would say that even today her role is shifting tremendously. The role of marketing is constantly changing, and there was a time that she was managing vendors. Today I would say that it's more of a collaboration than anything.
Yeah.
Myself, our general manager Kevin, and Lauren, we get together all the time and are constantly strategizing and just there's no setting it and forgetting it in this era. We need to be really on our toes on a weekly basis, and sometimes on a daily basis, just with different things and just really being up to date. So, in a certain way, she works hand in hand with call center.
Okay.
Which is a big deal. Making sure that our 3-day call board is where it's supposed to be, and if not, she needs to be involved in that process. Like, hey, why are we not hitting the numbers that we need to hit for a call center?
Right.
She has the ability to pull levers. So
Yeah.
The job of a call center manager, or the job of a marketing manager, the person that's in charge of marketing, has to really have their hands in multiple things in order to be able to fully make the right decisions or bring those awarenesses to someone above them. Obviously dealing with from an SEO standpoint, whether it's vendors, whether it's a social perspective, but just having your fingerprints over multiple things, I think is really the most important thing.
So she's watching your goals and looking at what's happening on a day-to-day basis and figuring out what levers to pull to bring more opportunities to help you reach your goals.
Yes, very much. Well said.
So cool.
I will jot that down and hand her.
We'll download the transcript. Here's what you do.
KeyHeart Marketing specializes in Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to build your brand awareness or drive leads using social media ads. If you're ready to elevate your social media, go to keyheartmarketing.com or follow us on social media.
So what are some things that you guys are strategizing on now? You and I are talking here in Q4, but obviously we're all looking at 2026 and what that's going to be. So is there and I'll say this too, I've been to many events this year and there's so much cool technology out there that can really every time I learn about a new one, it just blows my mind and what's possible. And I think I'll say that as an industry, we're so lucky because there's so much tech coming into this industry, which is really helping us work more efficiently, be more consistent, especially if you utilize it.
Sure.
But so what are some things that you guys are looking at for strategy that you're hoping to implement or you're already implementing and watching?
I'll just share that the one strategy that I think is very important for us as a company is we received an email. We did a marketing email to a client, to our whole client list, and a client responded back with, "Please remove me from your email. I don't do business with private equity."
Oh, okay.
Now, we were like really digesting this. What does that really mean? What happened here? Why would a client say that? And so it's very possible that this was a one-off. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it was done on purpose. I don't know what it was, but it got us thinking, is that, are we showing up too big? Are we showing up like, what is there? There's a lot of private equity in our space.
Mm-hmm.
But what is that? What is the downside to private equity for a client? Because many times private equity could be a great thing for a client. They can offer multiple services. They can be there on time. They can be reliable. There's greatness to it as well. There are big companies. But we said, what is the downside to there? Maybe we're showing up too big, and maybe we're not emphasizing that we are a family-owned and operated company. So our strategy has over the last 6 months and moving really into 2026 is emphasizing that we are a family-owned and operated business, and that's how we operate.
Yeah. You're not the first person to tell me that they've experienced something like that, and this idea of showing up too big, which is so interesting. And it kind of brings me into this next thing that I want to talk to you about. But I'm going to first say, one of the things that I teach, especially for smaller businesses or people who are starting off in social media, is to look bigger than you are, because that helps people gain trust in you. And you can do that. And when you look bigger than you are, then you actually become bigger because you have created this presence and people know who you are, and then they want to work with you and you become bigger. And it's like this whole cycle. But you're right, because you get to a certain level with any business that you have, and until you really earn the trust that you are able to still handle business at this size, it can be off-putting. So I think that's a really interesting thought of like that balance between it still I think it really comes down to still listening to what your customers or what your clients' wants and needs are, and being able to fulfill that level of what they need.
I was going for a walk in my neighborhood, and there was I passed a friend of mine or an acquaintance's house, and I noticed that there was a plumbing company truck in front of his house. I was I've learned over the last 25 years not to get offended if somebody uses another company. It's really okay.
Yeah.
But he saw me, and so he, in an awkward way, he came over and he's like, "Hey, how's it going, Yossi?" He's like, my drain was clogged. I just called this local guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But I said, by the way, we do drains also. He goes, yeah, I know, but I know you do lots of big stuff. You guys are a big company today. So I don't want to bother you with such little things like a drain. I mean, that's our bread and butter. That's what we do.
Right.
So I think that showing up big is what definitely the persona that I started out with.
Yeah.
Trying to always be bigger, especially when we first switched over to residential. Like everything we tried to do was be bigger and show bigger that we are bigger than we really are.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we can't show that we're a big company. I actually really, really believe that that clients want to do business with reliable companies.
Correct.
I know this for sure. To me,
Yeah.
it's all about value. So it's no secret of who you are. But what they don't want, there's a great line, which I have over my desk in my office, which is there's no such thing as high price, just low value.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could use the hotel analogy, which is we've all gone to high-end hotels that unfortunately didn't meet our expectation.
Right.
And there's nothing like paying a high price for something and just getting a mediocre service. I'm not talking about the lower end hotels, because we all know what we're getting if you're paying $39 off the side of the road while you're traveling.
Right.
You're not going to get a great experience, and that's okay. But if you're paying high value, you're certain an expectation that comes along with it. So with that, I would say is that us being a big company, there are clients that do want that top level service. There are clients that are willing to pay for it. We're in LA, and there are people that are willing to pay for it, and we have a strong clientele to prove that.
Yeah. Have you ever read? Are you familiar with the Savannah Bananas?
I have heard of it. Yes.
Okay. So I've been reading the book. The owner of the Savannah Bananas, Jesse Cole, wrote 2 books, and one of them is called Fans First. And it just reminds me of that. And it's a really great book. I recommend it for everyone. I want my leadership team to read it because I just love it. And it's about this fans first mentality and building fans. And so that's when you build fans, like everything that you do is for the fans. And so everything else just kind of works itself out because everything that you're doing is listening to what people are saying. So I think that those 2 pieces of feedback that you got are so interesting. And there's so much that you can do in your marketing and around like changing that perception of what people have of you at this point, which is like you're too big to do drains when you're like, that's what we do.
Exactly. I mean, and now we're experiencing it with air conditioning, is that, it's very hard to add on a trade because, I don't think we're going to change the name of our company, but we have a monkey with a wrench, and people are like, oh yeah, you guys are just plumbers. I have another air conditioning company that we use.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that one of our guys went to a job, and there was an air conditioning company together with us working in the same house at the same time.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, we use monkey wrench for years for plumbing. And we use them for air conditioning.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so interesting. So what I want to be sure that we bring up today is your LinkedIn personal brand. And I'm curious, I know I asked you about this at Pantheon, but I'm a huge advocate of everybody building their personal brand. I think it's really necessary as more AI comes into everything that we do. People start to lose trust in the internet. Like we've already lost trust in the internet, but with AI, it's even crazier how much faster trust will be lost. And also, with your business being bigger, and so I'm just curious of like what made you decide to start focusing on LinkedIn, and what has that process really been like for you?
LinkedIn has been great, actually. I really, really enjoy it. I've been on this path now for almost 2 years. of weekly or sometimes twice a week posting. I didn't know where I was going with this when I first started. I was like, you know what? I want to share what I have going on because I really believe in helping people as well. Helping people is really one of my passions. And I do this in a number of ways. And there's I owe a lot to Nexstar. And I owe this because they gave me a playbook and a resource to be able to reach out to be able to so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I wish I had this before I started my business. I wish I had this back in 2007, someone telling me what to do. I had a lot of figuring out what to do.
Yeah.
And, being able to share wisdom is, I think, a really great way to give back from a leadership perspective. It's also a great way to give acknowledgement. We just had someone in our company, our general manager was with us for 10 years. And I gave a nice acknowledgement around him on LinkedIn as well with a nice post. And it gives the ability to be able to not only give back, but also connect with other people, which is what I am all about. I'm a relationship driven person. And so for me, this is really important.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, it's scary to start something new. It's scary to put yourself out there. It feels uncomfortable. It feels maybe even self-serving a little bit. So like, how did you, or was that not, because I don't get bothered by that, but some people do feel that pretty intensely. Was that something that you ever felt, or like, how did you just like start that first day in it?
I was petrified. I was actually petrified because the crazy thing about LinkedIn is that most people do not respond, or anything like that. They read it and they move on. And so you have no idea what people's thoughts are regarding that. If you're going to get encouragement, then maybe you'll continue. But all of a sudden you start to see, okay, maybe the first post was, I don't know, maybe 500, 1,000 people were engaging. And then you start to see that climb. And before you turn around, you're at like 5,000 people, 5,000 people that are engaging with this post. I mean, that's 5,000 people is like the Greek theater here. That's a lot of people that are reading your posts. And so you're like, what is going through their mind? And it's pretty scary. But then what happens is you get incredible feedback. At least this is what happened to me. I'll speak up for myself, is that I was at this networking event and this woman came over to me and she says, I want to say thank you. Random person I'd ever met. I want to say thank you because you changed my life and you changed my students' life in many ways. And I said, what do you mean? I don't know, like, what's going on here? She said, you did a book recommendation on leadership books. And I read this book about John Maxwell, and I was able to create an entire class all about leadership based off of this book that you recommended to all my students. So I just want to let you know that your post was impactful to me, my students, and you probably passed that on to multiple people as well after that. And so that was like one of my first times, and that was like in the really early days. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm onto something here. Forget about the personal brand will come afterwards. I feel like what you do, that's the personal brand of what you do. But you just got to be authentic and be doing the right thing over and over.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't say that and why it's important, but that's one of the coolest outcomes of it, is that you get this opportunity, and we have the opportunity to impact so many people every single day. And so it's just building bigger relationships. Then when we see people in person, we know more about them and we're able to talk to them about more things. But the amount of people who see things that I've posted and tell me later how it drastically changed their life is like, it's crazy. And that's why it's such a cool thing to do and give back, a great way to give back. It's a great way to connect with people. Yeah. And it's just, it's cool that we have these platforms that give us the ability to do that and really share who we are in a way that can help other people too.
Yes. As long as you're doing it in a humble manner, as long as you're doing it in a place of real intention and not in a serving way, as opposed to, God forbid, another way of doing it to just, for your own personal self.
Yeah, it's cool. It's there was a video that Gary Vee made one time where somebody came to him. I think it was a couple. They had started a business and they were like, "Man, we're like so excited. We're going to change the world. Like we started this business." And he's like, "Well, how often do you post on social media about it?" And they're like, "Yeah, we need to get better at that. We're doing it like 2 or 3 times a week." And that's the thing, is like we have the ability to change the world and impact it massive amounts of people for free with these social media platforms that are in front of us, whether it's people knowing what you do as a business or people knowing who you are, or book recommendations, or even one for me that I share sometimes is that I'm sober. And there was somebody that told me that they quit drinking because of me posting that. And like, what? Like, how did I have that sort of impact on this person that I didn't even know in my life? And it's just like, that's why it's important, because that's huge. That's life-changing. And that's pretty cool that sharing something about myself can help, completely change someone else's life. And we all have that. We all have that ability. And so in the stories, I was just telling you before we started recording that I really loved the story that you posted recently about your birthday, because it just, it was really relatable to me and how I show up and how I should show up. So you definitely make a difference with that. And I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for saying that. And good job for you for posting, and amazing that the outcomes that come from it.
It's crazy. Okay, so you're here on the Key to Growth podcast. So our last question for all of our guests is, what is the key to growth?
The key to growth, in my mind, if you're going to build your business, is that you got to build yourself. It starts with you. And in order for you need to grow yourself so you can grow your leaders, so your leaders can grow your business. Understanding what your limitations are, stepping away from the things that are not your strong suit, and giving it over to people that truly can run with it and do phenomenal things that perhaps you are not capable of doing.
I love that. And 100%. Like there's no other way, especially to grow your business. So good. Yeah. So if people want to connect with you, tell them where to find you.
Absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Yossi Wachtel. And please shoot me a message, or just check me out on my LinkedIn posts. I do get a lot of spam messages, so hopefully don't make it too generic, and I will definitely respond back. Alternatively, you can also follow me on Instagram at The Real Smell Good Plumber is my handle. And that's it.
Cool. We'll drop all that in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here today. This was really awesome, and I definitely appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen.